Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the European Research Showcase. My name is Sam Langford. I'm the coordinator for the Global Science Show, the initiative putting together European Research Showcase as part of Intersections 2023. So, whether you've been seeing videos like this one, profiles being shared across social media, or similar content showcasing who researchers across the European Union are, what they do, and why they're awesome, that is coming from our event. And I'm so delighted to be back with another individual to speak to, find out who they are and what they do. So, Izzy McLeod, who are you and what do you do?
Hello, I'm Izzy McLeod. I am a scientist and artist, aware of many hats in the work that I do, but I suppose climate education sort of encompasses a lot of what I do, though probably not all of it. I primarily do things like workshop facilitations and create programs to teach people about the climate crisis, usually in a way that involves art in some way, to create spaces where they can learn and feel and sort of reimagine the future. And a lot of my work at the moment is moving into queer ecology and mycology. So that's the natural world and mushrooms. And yes, I will soon be working on a research project with McLeod Cymru, Museum of Wales, to queer the natural history collection, which is very exciting.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that last point in just a second, but could you give us a little flavour of the journey you've been on to get to this point in your career? Like, how did you get into this line of work?
Yeah, so I have a bit of an eclectic journey, I have to say. My background is actually in things that are somewhat but not completely related to what I do. My first degree was physics with astrophysics, and then I went on to do a master's in renewable energy. And sort of throughout that, sorry, I'll start that bit again. When I was a teenager, I started blogging, which was kind of like a creative outlet. I was mostly doing fashion blogging and talking about my day and taking pictures. And then I think I hit 18 and became very aware of the fact that I was a person in a global system and that my choices were having an impact on other people. And so I sort of switched into sustainable and ethical fashion and learned from there and was sort of posting about the things that I was learning and doing. And then got more and more involved into sort of sustainable and ethical fashion campaigning, longer form content on my blog, a little bit of YouTube. Um, and that led to opportunities such as I was Year of Green Action Ambassador for DEFRA back in 2017, maybe, or 2016, can't remember the exact year. Sort of public speaking gigs and workshops and stuff ended up coming from then, as well as the classic influencer selling you stuff. stuff. But I think kind of my work developed more when I became an Amgueddfa Cymru producer for the Museum of Wales. So they're sort of a group of young people that work on various projects with the museum. I started developing workshops. And also within that work, I joined a research project called the Future is Fungal, which is about very niche and very me, looking at queer culture, fungi, and teaching people about identity. And so that sort of took a lot of what I was interested in on queerness and mycology, kind of helped me learn a lot more and has led me to do a lot of the work that I'm doing now around queer ecology and mycology too.
So, there is a big push at the moment for a lot more queering science communication, like across different subjects. What does that mean exactly? How would you describe it?
I think for me, in terms of queering ecology, and I mean, I say queering mycology, but mycology is pretty queer anyway. Um, but sort of historically, modern science as we know it today, and sort of biology was, I don't want to say discovered, but formalized and put into the way we know it today by tended to be quite wealthy, white, Christian men who were looking at the world through a very specific lens and trying to fit everything into the box of the way they viewed humanity. So this is women and this is what they do, this is men and this is what they do. And they kind of looked at the natural world like that and put it into boxes. And this doesn't really work for a lot of nature as we're discovering now. And so queer ecology is kind of looking at nature through a queer lens and going, okay, let's kind of pick apart what we've been taught already. What is the world actually saying to us? And there's been a lot of misconception about mycology. I think Linnaeus, who's considered the father of modern taxonomy, called mushrooms the peasants of the plant world when they're not even plants. And so some of it is about sort of unlearning a lot of that. There's a lot of parallels as well between mycophobia and queerphobia and the language used for that. And so I think it's about unpicking some of that and learning new things.
I really love it as um, an approach to learning about the world that's around us and how that kind of weaves into identity and where people fit into the world as well. So I love that there's people like yourself who are doing more of this, because we need it in every aspect of the STEM world, but also just in the world as well. What does an average day look like then? If you're a freelancer doing like lots of different things, is there an average day?
I would say no. Generally, there's not an average day. I do still work part time at sort of my day job in community energy, and even that doesn't have an average day. But I suppose my ideal day, because days are split up between days where I'm doing more admin and days where I might be delivering workshops. But my ideal sort of admin day is sitting at my desk in the morning, answering my emails, maybe doing some workshop production, maybe some meetings, and then I like to try and spend my afternoon outdoors in any way that I can, whether that's going out into the woods and filming some videos about mushrooms, or if I've got some research to do for a workshop, I might be sat listening to a podcast. I am trying very hard to sort of structure my day so that I'm not sat at my desk for 7 hours, because that just really doesn't suit me.
No, I need to get better at that, absolutely. So actually, I'm going to look for a little bit of advice then. I really enjoy looking at fungi, but I don't know a lot about it. So what would be your kind of top tips for anyone who wants to go out and look at things like that?
I think the first thing I learned when I was first learning about fungi is like, don't try and learn everything at once. It is a huge area. There are actually more fungi in the world, we believe, than plants, and we don't know what most of them are. When I was first learning, it was sort of pick two or three if you're really interested, pick two or three to learn, or if you're out and you see loads, maybe look at one, pick it up. If you've got Fungi ID book or iNaturalist is quite good, or you can Google some of the, parts of the mushroom. I would say learn from there and sort of take it one step at a time, because you'll get really overwhelmed. But I found over time, as I know a few more, it's much easier then to ID a whole bunch of mushrooms. There are also a lot of really good books with some really great art in them if you just want to like sit and read about fungi. But if you're using an ID guide, use one with a, what is the word for them? Um, oh, I've forgotten the word. Do you know the word for, when you have an ID guide and it's actually got sort of steps to follow?
Oh
Does
yeah,
it
yeah,
have
yeah, like a good key. I know the exact thing you're thinking of. You know what I'll do? See in this corner up here, that word will appear in post edit. Um,
uh, because some ID guides just tell you the mushroom, and a
yeah.
lot of them look really similar, and they might tell you the mushroom and tell you it's edible without telling you what poisonous lookalikes might be, and I think that those ones are dangerous. So definitely don't eat anything if you're not 100% sure, but one with a key in it that guide you through is the best kind of ID guide to get.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have to because we're getting to that quite damp part of the year now as we're moving away from summer. Am I right in thinking that's when we'll start to see like a lot more things can start to pop out? Or
Yeah, I mean, right now, the last couple of weeks, I've found so many because it's been such a wet August, at least in South Wales. I've seen, yeah, so many, even just down the road from my house, which is wonderful. Walking out and checking on a fairy ring every day is a lot of fun, even in the middle of the city. Um, but yeah, it tends to be autumn is peak time for mushroom finding.
I'm definitely gonna have to go do it now. What would be the one thing that if you had like a 30-second elevator pitch to tell people about the work that you do, what would be the one thing you'd want them to know?
Oh, I hmm. I would say I think a lot of my work beyond, of course, looking at mushrooms is all about people connecting to nature, because I think it's really important in so many different ways. For personally, the more I spend outdoors, the more peace I feel within myself and with the world. And I also think it's really important, as we are in a climate and ecological crisis at the moment, the more people connect with the natural world, whether that's through looking for fungi, just going out and playing games, just going for a walk in the wood, whatever. The more people connect with the world, the more likely they are to want to protect their little patch of green around them. And so I think that that's a really important aspect of my work around identity and queerness, is finding those connections as well, because that's a lot of how I found peace with myself, is through just being in green spaces.
It's a really great way to end. Where can people find out more about you if they want to?
So my actual portfolio website is currently in progress, but generally I post a lot on Instagram, and I've started making reels about mushrooms if you want to learn about them. So that's at MuckyCloud, MUCCY Cloud. That's all my social media, and I do have a blog that's muckycloud.com, but I rarely post on it these days. But if you do want to learn about sustainable ethical fashion, there's a lot of content from years ago on that too.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Izzy, for coming along to tell us a little bit about you and the work that you do.
Thank you for having me.
And folks at home, if you've been enjoying watching along with the European Research Showcase, please do leave comments below or above, depending on where you're watching this. And if there's anything that we can send back to any of the people that are taking part in today, then we absolutely will do. For now, though, enjoy the rest of the showcase and take care.